Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another video. This is going to be a really interesting reader request video that I received on Twitter. We haven't done a reader request in a little while, so I wanted to do this one. It's super interesting. I really have never gotten a question quite like this. It's a really unique question. My video is kind of dark. There we go. It's a really unique question, so I'm really looking forward to this one. So, I'm not going to say the name of the girl that sent it to me because it's her, I want to say her real name. So I'm just going to go ahead and read you the question. Hey Seren, quick question. I wanted to know what thoughts you had on people playing other races when it comes to voice-over work. I take VO classes, and we were assigned to choose a script out of 3 pre-selected ones. Not surprisingly, there were 20 plus cartoon characters that were white, 2 characters that were Latina, 3 that were specifically black, 2 Asian, and about 8 that had no race attached. I emailed my coach asking if I could possibly play Maria from the Book of Life, and her response was, do not pick a character based on race. Many races book voiceover. It should be clear, have energy, and diction. I'm conflicted about this, the girl said. I'm conflicted about this. Yes, you can be one race and book another race, but is it wrong for me to want to find a character that's written for me? The girl that sent me this is an Afro-Latina. I'm against playing a different race on film for sure, but wanted to know what you think about the matter when it comes to VO, since you are not actually seen on camera or anywhere else. I'm also annoyed because I hate feeling like I'm being a burden when it comes to bringing up race. I felt like my teacher's response was almost telling me, don't bring race into this. And I don't know how to defend myself since it's voiceover work and no one can see us. It's very annoying to be looked at as the girl with race issues. Take it from me, yes, it is very annoying to be looked at as the girl with race issues all the time. And you're just like, well, I don't have race issues. Race just matters and is everything. It's not my fault. But yeah, so you are not the girl with the race issues. They are the industry with the racism issues, okay? I do not think that it is wrong to want to find a character that you feel is written for you, or a character that you can relate to, or a character that you feel you can bring that little, special certain something, that certain little oomph to. And it's unfair to, in my opinion, it's unfair when people say that it's wrong to want that, because it's like, well, but we see so many different kinds of whiteness represented on screen, on film, in cartoons, in TV shows, that pretty much any kind of white person that is an actor or a voice actor can, audition for at least one role in their life that they feel like, this is the role I was born to play. I relate to this character so much. But for POC actors and voice actors and writers and etc., we don't necessarily get that same courtesy, and it's unfair. And I also think that despite the fact that you are not actually seen on camera in voiceover, race and, culture and ethnicity, but especially race, can still play a part in that, because language is extremely nuanced. And there are certain things that no matter how hard you try, if you are not a part of the culture that uses that language, there are things that you just will not pick up. And there are things that will not translate to the character. So I definitely think it is wrong to say that race doesn't matter in voiceover because you don't see the person. No, because language has power. Again, it's very nuanced. And especially for Black characters, Hispanic characters, other POC characters that speak a certain way, for the most part amongst ourselves, that's not something that can just be picked up and duplicated and put on like a coat, and a lot of people like to act like you can do that, and you can't. And I read an article recently, like just the other day, I'll link it in the description box, that was about digital blackface, which is basically white people who pretend to be black on the internet. And we all have seen it, like especially here on YouTube. I'm sure we've all come across these people who claim to be black, and they have black avatars, and they have like these stereotypically black names. The article that I was reading about was specifically talking about it on Facebook, how it's like a big problem on Facebook. White people create these like fake accounts to win arguments, posing as black people, saying, well, I'm black and I think it's fine. There's certain ways you can tell. I'm black and I think XYZ is fine. You're white. As a black person, I think XYZ, you're white. As a black, using phrases like blacks think this, blacks think that, there's a disconnect there. You're obviously not black and most likely white, you know. So, and they've actually created a term for that, which is digital blackface. And again, I'm sure we've all come across that. And the reason why you can tell, despite the fact that this person has a black quote unquote name, a black avatar, and they're trying to like use all this slang and use all this African American vernacular English, and talk a certain way and come across a certain way. They're trying to play this character of blackness, similar to a voiceover, actor or actress. When you're trying to create this idea in people's minds because they can't see your face, context and experience does matter. Your lived experience, the context that you're using this language, again, the nuances of language and race and culture and ethnicity do matter. And there are times when Black and other POC voice actors and writers and directors and cameramen and so on and so forth, are the best talents for the job. And the reason why POC and Black actors and voice actors and cameramen and directors, etc., are the best talents for these characters and vehicles is because they're Black, is because they're POC. 9 times out of 10, a Black and or POC person could probably bring a Black and or POC character to life in a certain way that a white actor or actress can, because they bring an understanding to the table on what it is to be a person of color that you can't fake and that you can't learn. And that's just how I feel about it. So I definitely think that there are times when it's necessary to pick a voice actor who has some type of shared lived experience with the character that they are trying to bring to life. A good example of this is Steven Universe. Even though Steven Universe is entirely fictional, they have an extremely diverse cast. One of the main characters, Garnet, is Black. And I've heard that Steven Universe is really, really, really great, at this. They've been lauded for having an exceptionally diverse voice cast. And I've seen pictures of their cast, the voice actors with the characters, and they're really, really good. Like, they do a great job of matching a certain voice actor to a certain character. And I also feel like that's really important in shows and movies and TV shows with a wide range of cast members, because I'm sorry, as much as they want us to believe it, whiteness is not universal. It is not all encompassing. It is not a blank slate. It can't fit into any box. It can't be whatever it wants to be. Sometimes, you need someone that has some type of lived experience and what they can bring to the role. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. I could see, for an example, a white actress pushing Garnet into, sassy Black woman caricature territory, and not with anything malicious behind it, not with any type of racist intent behind it, but just going off of her own inherent bias. Yes, all white people, they all have it, and that is something to take into consideration. Instead of this idea that whiteness can be anything, we really have to start thinking a different way about the creative arts. We've all seen cartoons and stop animation movies and 3D movies, where something about the voice just doesn't fit, and race can be a huge factor in that. And people need to stop being so childish about this and la 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 la, I don't see race, don't bring race into it, it doesn't matter, blue blue blue, best talent, it should be about talent, best talent. It's but sometimes the best talent is because of race and is because of what they can bring to that character as a person of color. And for the record, this is for anyone, because I get a lot of questions about, someone had said to me, don't bring race into it. Am I bringing race into it? Race is in everything. Don't let people tell you that. For the record, whenever I hear don't bring race into it, little alarm bells fucking go off in my head, because I just feel like that is an automatic excuse to not have to talk about and deal with race and racism, because race is in everything. In this voiceover class itself, there's 20 plus white parts and only 3 Black and 8 other. race is already present in the room, okay? So don't tell someone to not bring race into it. When you have 20 plus white parts and 12 other for the rest of us to fight, to fight over amongst ourselves, race is already in the room, lady. Like, I'm not bringing race into it, And I also know that in addition to racism, sexism is also a big issue in the voiceover industry. So this teacher pretending that voiceover is some type of utopia with no issues of racism and or sexism just because you don't see the actor on screen really doesn't mean shit. This is a topic that not a lot of people talk about, so I'm really glad I got this request. I've literally only seen one movie in my whole life about voiceover acting. It's called In a World. It was on Netflix, but I don't know if it's still on Netflix because I watched it a really, really long time ago. It does have an all-white cast, which sucks. I'll try and find some that have some black people and some other people of color if anyone's interested in that. If any of you have seen any good movies or documentaries on voiceover work, please let me know in the comment section. But In a World is really good. In a World, of course, focuses on the sexism and not the racism because it has this all-white cast. But they have some really interesting scenes where the main character is this white woman, who's trying to land this like big voiceover job doing an action movie. And she keeps getting told that the big movies, the action movies, the dramas, the real heavy, serious, roles that pay a lot of money and can really, catapult you into being a big name in the industry are limited to men. They keep telling her like, oh, no one wants to hear a woman do a action, voiceover. No one wants to hear a woman do a drama. No one wants to hear a woman do a crime, a war movie. There's this idea that those are like masculine, manly man parts. And so they need like a deep, masculine, manly man voice. And it was really, really interesting. And there are some other scenes where she's trying to pick up this Russian dialect and she can't pick it up. So she actually it's set in New York. So she goes to Brooklyn where there's a large Eastern European population. And she sits on a park bench and she listens to people, native Russian speakers, speak Russian. And she records them on a tape recorder. And then later on she plays it back and she practices. Now, that is a prime example of, might it be better to hire, instead of her, a native Russian speaker? Because for everything that she's doing to get into this role, there's probably still stuff that she's just not going to be able to translate because she's not a native Russian speaker. She's never going to catch that dialect just right. Like, there are times when being the race or the ethnicity is more important. Like, people try to act like that's never the case. No. There are so many instances where being a black person, gives you a certain amount of insight into a black role, into, into the mind of even a fictional character, because you can ask yourself, what would you do? So this was a super, super interesting question. Super interesting question, extremely unique. I've never gotten a question like this before. When she wrote me the question, I literally wrote her back like, wow, I have never even thought about this. But now that I am thinking about it, I actually have some really definitive thoughts on it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Great question. Thank you so much. I love your reader requests. You guys have great minds and you really think about a lot of interesting things, and you guys are into a lot of different things that I love being able to talk about here on the channel. So let me know what you guys think. There will be, of course, links in the description box. I'll probably include a link to the article I was reading on digital blackface and probably some links on diversity in voiceover work, and I'll probably include a link to In a World. And let me know if you guys know of any other movies on voiceover work or anything like that. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section. So food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace.